I asked somebody today, I'm not going to tell you who, but somebody that you know as well, somebody that appears on this network quite a bit, who they're going to vote for. We were talking about the election. I didn't just ask it randomly, and they wouldn't tell me. And I was like, why won't you tell me? That's a weird thing that people do, and I thought we were over that. But if you're going to vote for somebody, that's not like, it's very private. You know, you don't want to talk about it. Just tell me who you're voting for. If you're proud to vote for this person, if it's Kamala or if it's Trump, just tell me. You should be proud to tell somebody who you're voting with. That's like an old school thing. No, I'm not going to mention who it is that I'm voting for. Okay, back to the race. Democrats are playing very scared right now, and they're doing something almost on a daily basis that we've just never seen in a presidential campaign. It's clearly a tactic. Listen to a speech that Donald Trump gave. He says something, and they're taking it out of context, and then they're lying about what Donald Trump is really saying, and then getting their friends in the media to parrot that lie. The latest example coming from a town hall last night with Tucker Carlson, where Trump was talking about Liz Cheney being a war hawk, just like her father, Dick Cheney. All right, he's not like, you know, wow, he's calling Liz Cheney a war hawk. She's somebody who's super pro-Ukraine. Not that long ago, Dick Cheney pushed our country into wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. Dick Cheney, the same guy that convinced the world that Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction, where in reality, he definitely did not. Take a look.
She's a radical war hawk. Let's put her with a rifle standing there with 9 barrels shooting at her, okay? Let's see how she feels about it. You know, when the guns are trained on her face. You know, they're all war hawks when they're sitting in Washington in a nice building saying, oh, gee, let's send 10,000 troops right into the mouth of the enemy.
So now Kamala and her team and her friends in the media are taking that clip right there completely out of context. They spent the day today claiming that Trump is calling for Liz Cheney to be shot and killed.
Anyone who wants to be president of the United States who uses that kind of violent rhetoric is clearly disqualified and unqualified to be president.
You have Donald Trump, who's talking about sending a prominent Republican to the firing squad.
He's saying quite explicitly and unambiguously that Liz Cheney should be shot, should be executed by firing squad. Let's execute a political opponent who happens to be a woman because I don't like her.
And because things are going so poorly right now for the Kamala campaign, this has been a tactic for the last 2 weeks at least. Here was Wednesday, Donald Trump talking about protecting women here in this country from criminal, illegal aliens. And here's Kamala. She took it out of context and pretended, this is a lie, but she pretended that Donald Trump was talking about abortion.
I said, well, I'm going to do it whether the women like it or not. I'm going to protect them. I'm going to protect them from migrants coming in. I'm going to protect them from foreign countries that want to hit us with missiles and lots of other things.
The former president, Donald Trump's remark about women and whether they like it or not. And listen, it actually is, I think, very offensive to women in terms of not understanding their agency, their authority, their right, and their ability to make decisions about their own lives, including their own bodies.
So I didn't think you'd be able to do something like that in 2024. Everybody's got a phone, everybody's recording everything, but there she is, gaslighting, 1984, all over again. She's able to say that, and nobody in the media calls her on it except really us. Okay, we're talking about it, because if we don't talk about it, you hear Kamala and you're like, oh, what did crazy Donald Trump say now? He didn't say anything. He talked about protecting women from illegal aliens who are committing crimes all over this country every single day. He wasn't talking about abortion. Jake Tapper at CNN, he's the only one that felt the need to point this out in the left-leaning legacy media.
When Trump said he was going to do something for women, whether they like it or not, whether the women like it or not, he was talking about protecting women whether they like it or not. Certainly you can take issue with the language, but he wasn't saying he was just going to do whatever he wanted regardless of, Anyway.
Okay, so I wouldn't call that a full-throated endorsement, by the way, but Jake Tapper at least honest for a moment there, for a quick moment, then he snapped right back into it. This all happened today. The fake overreaction is something Trump didn't actually say. To cover for what was this morning, 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time, the worst jobs report for a sitting administration, somebody from that administration running to be president, the vice president, in almost 30 years. This was really bad. 50,000 manufacturing jobs across this country gone in a month. Throughout the month of October, only 12,000 people got new jobs, meaning only 387 people per day in a country with over 345 million people got hired throughout the month of October, which is really bad news for Kamala.
It's a massive drop, of course, from what we saw in September. That number was also revised lower, down to 223,000 jobs. In fact, what we lost was over 110,000 jobs over August and September.
Okay, it's always interesting to me when Democrats fantasize about killing Donald Trump. This is not new to 2024. Nobody ever bats an eye when somebody on the left says something negative about Donald Trump. And normally, before I set up this soundbite, I'd say, do you remember this? You will not remember this because nobody ever talked about it when it happened in 2018. Take a look.
If you had to be stuck in an elevator with either President Trump, Mike Pence, or Jeff Sessions, who would it be?
Does one of us have to come out alive?
2018, that's when that was. Meantime, in the battleground states right now, a lot of funny business taking place. Even CNN was forced to be honest again today about the state of affairs on the ground in Pennsylvania.
Some of them will go home, without a doubt. Some of them are Republicans by DNA. Some of them voted for Trump in 2016, Biden in 2020, and have told us because of Biden's policies, because of inflation, the cost of living, they're going back to Trump.
All right, so here we are, setting up the final weekend before Election Day on Tuesday. I'm excited, but I'm also excited for this all to be over. And I'm hopeful that I get the result that I think we're all hoping for. But this is America, and one of the best things about this country is we all go to vote. So what's Kamala doing in the final weekend of the campaign? Well, Ben Affleck was not available, so she called J-Lo.
I promised myself I wouldn't get emotional, but you know what? You know what? We should be emotional. We should be upset. We should be scared and outraged. We should. Our pain matters. We matter.
She's never won an Oscar, by the way, but that was one heck of a performance right there. Real tears. And while Kamala Harris tries to show her policy chops in the final weekend of this campaign, she apparently thinks it's a good idea to campaign with several rappers who are going to join her. And I'm not super familiar with the majority of these people, so I'm going to try my best. Glorilla, Flo Milli, Mick Light, DJ Gemini, and Cardi B. I know Cardi B. I don't know what that does for Kamala, but that's Kamala's weekend plan. They will be on stage with her at various locations across the country. Donald Trump, on the other hand, campaigning in battleground states today, stopping by a restaurant in Dearborn, Michigan. He was asked about the fake Liz Cheney saga. Liz Cheney, the least popular Republican in America. This should not be the story 4 days before the election, but if you watch the legacy media, it is, because it's all they've got. They are on board the Titanic, and we just hit ice. He then is going to head to a rally in Michigan tomorrow. Later tonight, we're going to bring it to you here on Newsmax, a rally in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, as we approach the 72-hour mark until Election Day on Tuesday, the end of a sprint that started in November of 2020 for Donald Trump.